back to episode 2 of our Onboarding Playbook Series. In episode 1, we talked about rethinking onboarding as an experience and not just a checklist. And Kunal helped us unpack how to make these new hires feel like they have made the right choice on the day one itself. Today, we are going one level deeper. In this episode 2 of the series, we are talking about something every company wants to nail, but a very few actually do: the onboarding journey itself. From what happens before day zero to the first week, first month, and so on, how it all threads into one together. Kunal is back with us, and I can't wait to dig in. So, Kunal, let's just start right at the top. Everyone talks about the first 30 days. But in your experience, what does a great onboarding calendar actually look like? What does it need to include beyond the basics?
Thanks, Prachi. That's a big one. And honestly, a great onboarding calendar doesn't start on day one. It starts before that. So let's say pre-day zero. Send a warm, personalized welcome, maybe even a quick video from a future teammate, or share a what to expect deck, and invite them to a virtual intro or a team hello. On week one, keep it human. Focus on company DNA, a live AMA with leadership, IT walkthroughs, or a casual team mixer. The key is to make it light, engaging, and memorable. From week 2 to week 4, we will go deeper. So, job shadowing, product deep dives, customer stories. So, blind async and live session. So, it's not overwhelming for the new joinee. And after the first month, this is where most companies drop off. But it's great time for a pulse check. So, gathering feedback and maybe even a casual reunion with the fellow new joiner. I would say what's new in 2025 is interest-based sessions. So we can host DI circles, wellness intros, or role-based cohort calls. So I'll tell you a story. One healthcare startup we work with did this really well. They used AirMeet to run an event on which on day three a founder fireside chat was there, and then peer challenger in week two, and week four live feedback showcase. And they staggered everything by time zone, so no one missed out. When onboarding is this intentional, people don't just join; they feel like they belong.
All right. I just love that. And from an event planner's perspective, spacing things out really helps, as you also mentioned. You don't need to flood the calendar in just 1 week and just bifurcate into different weeks. So it's about orchestrating connections and not that chaos for the people attending those onboarding sessions. Okay, so now let's go a level deeper. There's this T6090 onboarding model everyone talks about. But in practice, how should companies sequence onboarding through those stages?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the 30, 60, 90 model. Yes, thrown around a lot. But to really make it work, you need to stop thinking it in checklist and start thinking as of layers of experience. So first 30 days, it's all about belonging. This is the foundation phase. The focus shouldn't be on performance yet, it should be on clarity, connection, and confidence. So introduce the culture, values, and the story behind the company, why you exist, and what you stand for. So to do that, bring in leadership voices, host casual team mixers, and build emotional safety. So the key is people should leave this stage feeling okay. I understand where I've landed, and I feel good about it. Then, as we move from day 31 to 60, now it's about a role ramp up. This is where onboarding shifts gear. So, start layering role specific learning, tools, system, and actual workflows. Job shadowing becomes really important here. So, let them see the job in action before they are expected to do it. Also, bring in like internal stakeholders to talk through cross functional dynamics, such as like how does sales work with the product, or how does support work with engineering. So think of this as the skills and context phase. Then as we move from day 61 to 90, focus on contribution. Now the question becomes, where can I add value? And to do this, introduce clear metrics they are responsible for. Share growth paths and how performance is measured. Like we can encourage them to start doing small wins, a client call, or even a small project. And the most important, show them how their work connects to the company's bigger mission. That's where commitment deepens. What's working really well in 2025 is a hybrid onboarding model where you blend self-paced tracks with live sessions. So people absorb the basic on their time and they can use the live touch points for connection and coaching. And I would say at the end of each phase, 30, 60, and 90, include a reflection loop. It could be a quick feedback check ins, a mentoring moment, or even a short presentation from the new hire on what they have learned. So, how this reflection loop help is it helps them to log in progress and helps you as a company to improve the process too. So, yeah, less checklist, more journey. That's how onboarding sticks.
Right, and the best planners I have worked with build a check at each of those stages. And not just a feedback form, but lightweight team sync or just check ins that reflect how the person is doing beyond the performance. So that also really helps. Now, one of the most painful parts is aligning multiple teams. HR, IT, hiring managers, maybe even operations. Everyone is involved. So, what is your approach to avoid that chaos and finger pointing?
Yes, I have definitely seen that overlap. And the biggest unlock is really centralizing how it runs. So you need one clear coordination point, a single place where everything comes together. Usually that's someone from HRBP or People Ops. Like they own the full onboarding calendar. We can use tools like Notion or shared trackers. They work great for assigning who's leading what, whether it's IT for setup, HR for policies, or managers for a team level onboarding. And for running internal events, smooth collaboration is a key. I would recommend platforms like AirMeet that support multi-host access and role-based controls. So whether it is IT, HR, or managers, they all can plug in without stepping into each other. Some teams we work with use Airmeet's backstage room for internal preparations like this to run dry runs, quick syncs, or last minute tweaks. It helps to keep things smooth without juggling on five different tools. As I would say, at the end of the day, it's about making onboarding feel seamless for the new hire and the people running it.
Yes, in fact, we have helped teams use AirMeet to create private onboarding hubs where every department drops in their content. It's like a co-created onboarding studio which they can use at their onboarding journeys. So, Kunal, now let's just rewind a little to pre-boarding side of it. How do you make this period meaningful without sounding HR spam?
Keyboarding is all about striking the right tone. I would say a mix of emotion and clarity. So instead of sending long document, share a short welcome video from their managers, maybe a team curated Spotify playlist or an invite to the light virtual session, like a casual coffee chat or a desk setup walkthrough. It's not about flooding them with the info, it's about making they are included so that they are excited even before the day one.
I totally agree. And in fact, even something like just a random idea that came was a welcome wall where the teams can drop personal notes or emojis goes a long way in making people feel seen. So all these small things also make a big difference. So much of good onboarding is keeping the energy high. So, how do you keep new hires engaged beyond day one? What have you seen work when it comes to gamification or maybe feedback sharing?
Keeping new hires engaged after day one is all about adding like small moments of surprise and interaction. Gamification, when it's done right, works really well, but it has to feel natural. I've seen teams run weekly quizzes based on onboarding sessions with small perks or shoutouts. Some even use leaderboards, as you mentioned, maybe a welcome wall, to track participation in a fun, light-hearted way. And I would also suggest peer recognition. It goes a long way. Like things like live shout outs during events make people feel seen. And don't forget feedback loops. I've seen companies and super short pulse polls, just two questions after each major sessions, and then actually use that feedback to tweak the next week's plan. That's what keeps the experience evolving and personal.
I would just add on to that it's a big shift I have noticed too that teams nowadays aren't waiting until day 30 to survey overall experience. They are just adjusting the onboarding like they would tweak a live event agenda based on the crowd. So, one last question before we wrap up. What are the metrics that actually matter when measuring onboarding?
Great question. So I usually look at three core buckets. First is engagement. Like you can ask questions like, are people showing up? What's the attendance rate? How long are they staying? And are they interacting using polls, chats, or breakout rooms? Second one would be to track sentiment. What's the NPS or feedback score post onboarding? And are new hires sharing honest reflections about how the experience was? And the third would be to measure the impact. How quickly are they delivering value? Are they making referrals? Are they still with you at day 90? In 2025, the smartest teams are syncing this data into the HR tools. And the patterns are clear. When someone shows up, engages, and leaves positive feedback, they are way more likely to stay and thrive.
And as an event planner, I would just say don't ignore the drop offs. If someone stops attending sessions or skip major ones, it's a red flag. Time to check in before it becomes a bigger issue for the whole team. Now, this was the last section for today's episode. So, just to sum it up, onboarding isn't just about day one anymore. It is a journey, and when done right, it sets the tone for everyone who is attending it and everything that follows. Kunal, this was packed with insights, great examples. Thank you so much. And I think what really stood out is that onboarding today is more than just orientation, it's activation of purpose, community, and confidence. And for everyone who is tuning in, don't forget to check the full series on Airmeet and let us know your favorite takeaway. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.